Hello everyone. I want to share with you how the prophecies in the Bible, specifically in the book of Isaiah and in the Quran, are all coming true. In fact, they have come true about the state of Israel and its superiority. So let's read the verses together. I'll explain more as we are reading the verses. Let's start with the book of Isaiah, chapter 41, verse number 8. It says, "But you, O Israel, my servant, Jacob, whom I have chosen, descendant of Abraham, my friend, I brought you from the ends of the earth and called you from its farthest corners." So I want you to stop and pay attention to this verse number 9. What is it saying? I brought you from the ends of the earth and called you from its farthest corners. What is it talking about? It's saying that I gathered you from various nations. I gathered you from all over the world and brought you together. This is talking about our Creator's last promise to the Israelites. And I have several videos on this topic from the Quran, chapter 17. I will put the links in the video, but also at the end of this video, we are going to look at those verses in the Quran. Very briefly, I'm going to go over them. But Quran says the exact same thing. The Quran says, "Ji'na bikum lafifa." He says, when your last promise comes, we will bring you from various nations, from various parts. Ji'na bikum lafifa. Here in the book of Isaiah, it says we brought you from the ends of the earth, from its farthest corners. Some from America, some from Canada, some from Russia, some from Latin America, Europe, Middle East, all over the world, from its farthest corners. And basically, and this obviously happened in 1947, even as of today, there's a lot of migration from various parts of the world to the state of Israel, with Jews basically immigrating or migrating to the state of Israel. And that's exactly the promise of the Lord in the book of Isaiah and in the Quran, and we'll go over it together. I said, "You are my servant. I have chosen and not rejected you. Do not fear." This is very important. "For I am with you. Do not be afraid, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will surely help you. I will uphold you with my right hand of righteousness." So again, I want you to stop and think about this. What does that mean? Our Creator, Yahweh, Allah, whatever you want to call Him, the Creator of the heavens and the earth, the one who creates the nations and dissolves them. Nations are like human beings. So just like I was created and one day I will die, all the nations in the world also are created one day by our Creator, and they also die one day. Or get old, they are young, they are powerful, they are at the peak of their power. So that's how it is. So basically our Creator is saying that I will strengthen you. It means I will make you a very strong nation. I will surely help you. Not only that, I will help you. I will uphold you. And this actually has happened several times since 1947. During every war that the state of Israel fought, they won it victoriously. They were superior. So let's read the next few verses, and we are going to talk about this a little bit more. Now, verse number 11 says, "Behold, all who rage against you will be ashamed and disgraced." What does that mean? It means they will be defeated. Those who contend with you will be reduced to nothing and will perish. So the enemies of the state of Israel will be destroyed, will be reduced to nothing, and will perish. You will seek them, but you will not find them. Why? Because they have been destroyed. They have been killed. They have been defeated in wars. Those who wage war against you will come to nothing. Why? For I am the Lord your God, who takes hold of your right hand and tells you, do not fear, I will help you. Do not fear, O worm of Jacob, O few men of Israel. So it's basically saying, even though your population in the state of Israel is much less than the population of the state of Egypt or Saudi Arabia or Iraq or Iran or Turkey or Syria or all those countries around you, even though your population is so much less, you have like 5, 6, or $7 million at max, and those are like millions of people. There's 1 billion Muslim countries, 2 billion Muslim people around you. It says, do not fear, O few men of Israel. Why? Because I will help you, because God, our creator, because Allah will help the state of Israel. That's what it is saying. For I am the Lord your God, who takes hold of your right hand and tells you, do not fear. Why? Because Allah, Yahweh, our creator, will help the state of Israel. Because Allah wants the state of Israel to have great superiority. And that's what he says in the Quran as well. We'll go over it. So I will help you. Your Redeemer is the Holy One of Israel. Who is the Holy One of Israel? Is Allah, is Yahweh, is the creator of the heavens and the earth. Very quickly, I want to come back to verses number 11, 12, and 13 and tell you that these prophecies have all come true. They came true 1947. They came true before that. They came true at 1967, 1970. Look, the entire Arab armies got together. All of them. Go read the history. It's not something this is not something that I am making it up. Go look at the history of Arab-Israeli wars. All Arab armies got together. Millions of people. Back then, the Israelites were probably 500,000 people. I don't know the exact number. Tiny amount. They all got defeated. Jordan, Iraq, Egypt, Syria, all the Arab armies together got defeated. Egypt, Syria, Jordan attacked. They all got defeated. And every time they got defeated, they lost more land. And all those people who had waged war against the state of Israel do not exist. They died. All of them perished. And the state of Israel became more powerful, bigger, larger. Look what happened since October 7th. The state of Israel has actually captured more land. A lot of Syria, Golan Heights, they all were captured. Hezbollah in Lebanon completely destroyed. Hamas in Gaza destroyed. Iranian army decimated. All their commanders destroyed. Their nuclear program is completely dismantled and destroyed. In 12 days, it's Allah that is supporting that. Allah makes these operations that the state of Israel does successful. It's in the Quran because Allah wants the state of Israel to achieve huge, great superiority. It says, عُلُوًّا كَبِيرًا لَتَعْلُنَّ عُلُوًّا كَبِيرًا. It means you will attain great superiority. That's the will of Allah. The angels of Allah are helping them. In addition to other countries, in addition to the European and Americans, but at the end, those people on the ground that are doing the operation, how come their operations are always successful? Nobody discovers those operations. Think about it. It is because God is supporting them. Our Creator is supporting them. You have to take the cover off your eyes so you can see the truth. Remember that. And then I want you to pay attention to the next two verses in the book of Isaiah. It says, behold, I will make you, make who? The state of Israel. I will make you, when your last promise comes, that it has come in 1947, this last promise came. It says, I will make you into a threshing sledge. Now I will show you what a threshing sledge is. But it's a new threshing sledge because it didn't exist. It's not an old nation. Recently was created. And so it will be a new threshing sledge sharp, with many teeth. You will thresh the mountains. What mountains are? This huge nation like Iran that Israel just threshed it, or Syria that Israel threshed before, or Egypt that Israel threshed before, or Lebanon, or Hezbollah, or Hamas. You will thresh the mountains and crush them. These are big nations, and reduce the hills, the smaller ones, all these militias, reduce the hills to chaff. You will thresh the mountains and crush them and reduce the hills to chaff. You will winnow them. And again, I'm going to show you the pictures. I'll go over it. And wind will carry them away. And a gale. What is a gale? It's a storm. You know how when October 7th happened, Hamas called it Tufan al-Aqsa. Is the storm or gale of al-Aqsa. Look, the real storm happened when the Israeli army got engaged. And that's a gale, a storm that was founded by them will scatter them. All of them got scattered. Look, where is Hezbollah today in Lebanon? Where is Hamas today? What happened to Iran? They all were scattered. A gale scattered them. But you, the state of Israel, will rejoice in the Lord. You will glory in the Holy One of Israel. Now, remember this verse number 15 and 16. Let me show you some pictures. So what is a threshing sledge? So in ancient times, threshing was the process of separating grain from the stalk and husks. So basically separating the edible part from the inedible part. Separating what is good and you can tolerate from the things that you don't need. You separate the grain that you can eat and use and get rid of the rest, and you burn the rest, or you throw them out. So a threshing sledge, what is it? It's a heavy implement with teeth or stones. It was used to be dragged over the harvested grain to break it apart and release the kernels. So you put this equipment and put it on the grains, on the grain, and then you rub it, you go over it. What it does is that it separates the grain, the good parts, the edible parts that you like, from those parts that you don't like. And then the parts that you like, you use in food and you utilize them. And the parts that you don't like, you burn and you throw away and you destroy. So imagine Israeli Air Force on Lebanon. What was it doing? It was shooting down and killing its enemies. And it was acting as a threshing sledge. So the useful parts, the parts that Israel could tolerate, Israel can tolerate and live, they stay alive, and it killed all the commanders and all its enemies. He did the exact same thing in Iran as well. And it will continue doing that. This will continue. And the Israeli army is doing the exact same thing in Gaza as well. It literally is acting as a threshing sledge. That's exactly what the prophecy, the book of Isaiah, tells us. The Israeli Air Force, the Israeli army goes on top of a country, just like a threshing sledge, and separates the good ones from the bad ones, kills all the enemies. Of course, there's always some casualty and things like that as well, unfortunately. And sometimes it's very sad to see so many children, and that's very sad. I'm not talking about that. But for the most part, that's what is happening. And remember, in all these wars, a lot of massacres, a lot of crimes also is happening. That's between them and their God. Remember, the Quran says nobody dies except by Allah's permission. And then again, the winnowing that we talked about, the verb winnow refers to the agricultural practice of separating grain from the inedible outer layer or chaff by tossing it into the air so that the wind carries away the lighter chaff while the heavier grain falls back down. So you will winnow them and the wind will carry them away. Means that the state of Israel will separate the good from the bad. It means the good based on them, what is good for them from what is bad for them, its enemies. And then it destroys the enemies, it kills them. That's exactly what it did in Lebanon, what it did in Iran, what it did in Syria, And it's also doing that in Gaza as well, Gaza Strip amongst Palestinians. And remember, even in the process in agriculture, when you're doing that with a threshing sledge, or when you're winnowing, you're gonna there are always going to be casualties. I mean, there's some good grains that are gonna be destroyed. And the same thing is happening as well. It's a war. But what can you expect when another group of people, they're saying that we want to destroy you, we want to annihilate you off the face of the earth, we don't want the state of Israel to exist. So what can you expect? They have to defend themselves too, right? So that's what it is. That's how the world acts. If someone comes to you and say, I'm going to destroy you, even though you might have stolen their house, you're going to fight back. You're not going to let them take that house back. You have to be able to fight back. And if you don't have the power, you might as well come with another solution to live together peacefully, get by together, get along in peaceful ways, rather than just fighting, because obviously that person that you're trying to eliminate, that person is going to fight back. And if that person is a superpower, is a champion, is a lot more powerful than you are, you can imagine you're going to be in the basement, in the corner, locked up and beaten up every day. That's how it works. We're in a jungle. There's no law. We're in a jungle. This is a jungle with lions and hyenas and wolves and tigers and lamb and sheep and cow and deers. That's how it is. Now let's go over several Quranic verses. I'll put the link down in the description. I have several videos on this. I'm going to go very quickly. Verse number 4 of chapter 17. We decreed for the children of Israel in the book that you will surely cause corruption on the earth twice. And this is what? This is the first promise. This promise has been done. Even Quran says, وَكَانَ وَعْدًا مَفْعُولًا. And this was the promise that was completely done. So what does that mean? This happened during the Babylonian Empire and also during the Roman Empire, where the Israelites disobeyed the command of the Lord to live peacefully alongside the Babylonians and then the Romans. And they revolted against the Babylonians, and then they revolted against the Romans. What happened was that the Babylonians and the Romans came and destroyed the state and annihilated the state of Israel. Why? Because the state of Israel didn't want to comply with Yahweh's commands to live peacefully alongside the state of Babylonia and be subject to it. To live peacefully alongside the Roman Empire and be subject to it. They revolted against the superpower at the time who Yahweh himself had created, so they got annihilated. And so this was the first promise that was completed. Now here comes the second promise that Allah has given to them. And I read the verses of the book of Isaiah too, that I will make you into a new threshing sledge. It has never happened for the state of Israel to be this powerful in history. It has never happened. New threshing sledge with a lot of sharp teeth and very powerful, destroying all its enemies, winnowing them and threshing them. So this is the last promise. And you will surely become superior and haughty with great superiority. With great superiority. When you're haughty because you're superior to your enemies. You're like, hey, I'm so superior. I'm technologically superior, militarily superior. I am financially superior. We are just a superior people. And that's what it's a great superiority. It's لَتَعَلُنَّ عُلُوًّا كَبِيرًا. Great superiority. And we saw it. We are seeing it every day with our own eyes. We have been seeing this since October 7th. How superior the state of Israel is compared to its neighboring country, compared to its enemies, even compared to Europeans, even compared to Russians. If you ever doubted the superiority of the state of Israel, look at Russia-Ukraine war. It's 3 years, still Russia cannot control Ukrainian Air Force. Doesn't have control over Ukraine skies. But the state of Israel, in 2 days, they controlled the entire skies of Iran, a country of almost 100 million people. They killed all their commanders, all their military commanders. They destroyed all their nuclear facilities, all their missile facilities, all their technology facilities. In 12 days, can you imagine I assure you, even the US could not do it that way, that fast. For let alone France and European countries. Why? Because the state of Israel has achieved superiority. Look what it did in Lebanon. The same thing. And did the exact same thing to Egypt as well, the exact same thing to Syria, did the exact same thing to all the Arab armies. Because Allah has allowed, Allah has actually facilitated, has caused the state of Israel to achieve superiority in the world. And then I also wanted to share this verse with you, verse number 104 of chapter 17. It says, and we said to the children of Israel after him, what did he say? أُثْكُنُوا الْأَرْضَ فَإِذَا جَاءَ وَعْدُ الْآخِرَةِ جِئْنَا بِكُمْ لَفِيفًا. It says, when the final and the last promise comes. Which one is the final and last promise? We just went over there. The promise that the state of Israel will achieve great superiority. It happened in 1947. I just showed you the exact same verses from the book of Isaiah, that Allah says that I will make you into a new threshing sledge. You will winnow your enemies, and you will basically destroy all your enemies. All your enemies will perish. And says, when the final and the last promise comes, we shall bring you together, جِئْنَا بِكُمْ لَفِيفًا. Bring you together as a nation. When you bring a group of people together, you're building a nation. So Allah is creating a nation. What nation? The nation state of Israel as mixed crowd. It means gathered out of various nations. This is exactly what the book of Isaiah mentioned, that I will gather you together from the four corners of the earth, from the farthest parts of the earth, from the US, from the Europe, from Latin America, from China, from Russia, from all over, from India, from all over the world. Allah will gather them together and cause them to become a nation, and that is the current state of Israel, and the promise of Allah has been fulfilled. This has been fulfilled. Not only they have been together, but also they have been made by Allah into a superpower. Allah supports them. They are victorious in all their military endeavors, and they destroy all their enemies. Look, where are the state of Israel's enemies today? All of them, all their enemies have been perished. What happened to Hezbollah? What happened to Hamas and its leaders? What happens to Egyptian leaders that were the enemies of the state of Israel? Not the Arab countries nowadays, not only they are not enemies to the state of Israel, but also they are the biggest supporters of the state of Israel. Because without the state of Israel, those Arab countries would not exist. The Middle East will unite. The only reason why the Middle East is divided like it is right now into these countries like Saudi Arabia, like Jordan, like Egypt, all of this is the state of Israel. If the state of Israel, if you remove the state of Israel out of the equation in Middle East, if tomorrow something happens and the state of Israel does not exist, it takes a few years and the Middle East reunites and becomes one country. So all these Arab countries, they owe their existence to the state of Israel. That's why all of them support the state of Israel wholeheartedly. Forget about all these announcements that they make. Those are all lies, deception, politics. In reality, all of them support the state of Israel wholeheartedly, because they all know what will happen if the state of Israel does not exist. They will cease to exist as a nation as well. And the Middle East will be reunited into some sort of an empire, some sort of a kingdom, some sort of a government, as it had been before. But that is not the will of Allah. That is not the will of Yahweh, our Creator. That shall not happen, because Allah has said, Allah wants the state of Israel to be victorious and to be superior, not at a little degree, greatly superior. Uluwan kabira, great superiority. And this will continue, my brothers and sisters. This will continue up until the advent of the promised messenger, servant of the covenant. The messenger who has been promised, In the book of Isaiah, in the book of Malachi, in the Bible, in the Torah, and also clearly promised in the Quran. I don't know when, I don't know where. This might be 1,000 years, 100 years, 200 years, 50 years, it might be 2 years from now. I do not know that. No one knows that. But when the promised messenger servant of the covenant comes, he will invite the entire world to worship and believe in our Creator, in Yahweh, in Allah. The entire world will be invited. And when I'm saying Allah, I want to clarify, I'm not talking about Akbar, I'm not talking about Iblis, I'm not talking about the devil that the current Muslims, Sunni and Shia Muslims worship. It has nothing to do with God. Current Sunni and Muslims, Sunni Muslims, Shia Muslims, they worship Akbar. They say Allahu Akbar. It means Akbar is Allah. It doesn't mean Allah is great. That has nothing to do, that's deception. It means Akbar is Allah. Now, who is Akbar? I have several videos in my channel explaining that Akbar is the same as Iblis, is a great devil. So the current Muslims are worshipper of Iblis, a worshipper of devil. So when Allah's promised messenger servant of the covenant comes, he invites people, current Muslims, maybe they will believe, maybe they won't believe, I don't know. The same with Israelites. Some of them will believe, some of them don't believe. But it's at that point that Allah at that point starts supporting those who believe in his messenger and his messages that he sends to him. At that point, the equation changes. Allah supports his messenger and his followers. Now, I don't know if the state of Israel, people in the state of Israel will believe in Allah's messenger servant of the covenant or not. That I don't know. Only God knows. I don't know if the current Muslims believe or not. God knows. Of course, the book of Isaiah, the Quran, they give us indications. But let's wait for that to happen. Peace and blessings to all of you.